Dad, I have something to tell you.
Shh. Don't worry. Shh. I won't tell anybody.
Shh. Shh. Shh.
I can't tell you.
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 I can tell you that.
Don't tell my dad.
I'm telling Mom.
I'm telling Mom.
I'm telling Mom.
I'm telling Mom and Dad. I'm telling.
I'm telling Ted.
You have to learn when to keep quiet.
I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
I can't tell you.
I can't tell you.
I can't tell you.
I can't tell you.
I'll never tell you what it all meant.
I'll never tell.
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 Hi, today I want to talk to you about a secret. I say it's a secret, but the secret is quickly becoming not so secret. In fact, it might change everything about how we write, create, speak, and listen to one another. We need to be careful. If we're not, it can become impossible to determine what the truth even is. Because the secret is, this isn't my voice.
This is.
And it took me less than 10 minutes to figure out how to change it into this.
Or this.
The potential is limitless. But when an AI can say anything
In any voice.
Stealing someone else's voice has never
been
Easier. Because the secret is.
the potential is limitless.
The potential is limitless.
An AI can say anything in any voice.
This isn't my voice.
Hey, check this out. Did you see that? I just performed the most basic competitive technique in the children's party game Super Smash Bros. Melee. It's called the wavedash. To do it yourself, just jump and then immediately air dodge into the ground at any angle you want. If you've done it right, your character should slide across the stage. This can be performed by everyone on Melee's roster with varying degrees of effectiveness. Now, you might think that this is a glitch, but it's actually more of an exploit that the developers knew about during development and decided to leave in, perhaps as a little secret, something for the most dedicated and curious of players to discover, not to be found in the game's instruction manual but through the whispers of the community. It's safe to say that these two simple inputs, one after the other, catapulted Melee into the competitive masterpiece that it is today. It showed that there was more to this game than meets the eye. If you ever find yourself watching two titans of top-level Melee duke it out, then it's the discovery of the wavedash that you have to thank.
Oh, this is when he turns it on. He's turning it on.
Oh! Oh my God!
In Spelunky, if you sacrifice a present at a Kali altar, a mysterious eggplant appears. This wasn't discovered until several months after the game's release. Even then, no one really knew what to do with it until someone hacked it into the final boss's lair. Surprisingly, when throwing it at Yama, it turns him into an eggplant. I love the Spelunky eggplant secret because this one wacky item creates an exciting challenge run. The eggplant is fragile, and if you're not careful, it will shatter like a pot. Beyond this, there are several other problems that make the run difficult, almost impossible. The solution required the discovery of a massive glitch and some dangerous strategies, but resulted in an interesting if weird challenge that brings together a lot of Spelunky. Bananasaurus performed the first solo eggplant run on November 10th, 2013, months after the eggplant's discovery. The eggplant is a compelling secret in a generated world, bringing together the game systems emergently into a beautiful gauntlet.
I already had two questions before I started playing The Witness. The first was, why is it called The Witness?
Hey, wanna know why it's called The Witness? In their most basic form, these line puzzles are called self-avoiding walks. You can move up, down, left, or right, and you can't cross your own path. But the witness adds all these extra rules, triangles, Tetris blocks, other lines, so a bunch of mathematicians set out to determine the complexity of puzzles in the witness, and found that a lot of them are in the complexity class called NP-complete. A lot of our favorite puzzles are NP-complete, which has two characteristics. One, no fast algorithm for solving these problems is known, but you can find a solution by just trying every single possible answer. Hey, we've all been there. And two, once you think you have a solution, you can quickly verify its correctness. The method that checks your guess is called a verifier, and the guess is called a witness, since it witnesses whether the guess has all the properties required to solve the problem. Your goal in the game is to seek out unsolved puzzles and provide the witness.
I've got a secret. A good one.
That clip is the true beginning of Season 1 of Veronica Mars, and it is a promise. Lily has a secret. She knows something that others don't know. And over the course of the next 22 episodes, that secret will slowly but surely burn the city of Neptune to the ground. In some cases, literally. When a story tells us there's a secret, it's making two promises. First, there is something we don't know. Second, somebody does know. Lily does have a secret. Lost, in contrast, was a show that had almost no secrets. They kept the first promise. There was a lot in the show that we didn't know. But neither did they. Nobody knew what the smoke monster was. When they started, they thought maybe it was a robot. Nope, evil ghost. Is the island purgatory? No, everybody is not dead.
I died too.
LOL JK, everybody's dead. Lost's mystery box supposedly contained hidden knowledge, but when it was opened, it revealed that there was nothing to be known in the first place.
You've probably heard of the principle of Chekov's gun. If a story directs our attention to a gun in Act 1, then that gun better get fired by the finale. The visual centerpiece of Guillermo del Toro's The Devil's Backbone isn't a gun, but a ticking bomb dropped on a loyalist orphanage by nationalist troops during the Spanish Civil War. Not to worry though, we're immediately assured that the bomb is inert and the children safe. But meanwhile, each of the adults here is hiding something. Carmen is hiding gold in the orphanage on behalf of the loyalist militia, and she's also hiding an affair with Jacinto, a nationalist sympathizer with a secret of his own. He's trying to steal the gold for himself, and at the same time, the children are probing into the mystery of what happened to Santi, a boy who was killed on the same day that the bomb fell. All these pressures come together to create a volatile situation for these children caught in the crossfire of a war waged by the adults meant to look after them. So it turns out Del Toro's bomb is a bit of a misdirection. The bomb never needs to go off at all in order for everything to explode.
Odin Finch was a man that was used to misfortune. His family, the Finches, before him were no stranger to death. His son Johan and wife Ingeborg were laid to rest in the family cemetery. Odin tries to leave this burden behind, taking daughter Edie, husband Sven, and granddaughter Molly with him to America. Across the coast, he crashes and dies. Edie, Sven, and Molly are the only living people left. However, this curse does not leave them. It is no big secret, but what if the curse was not a thing, but a person? Throughout the game, there are memorials, and Edie chose the material to, memorialize them. However, the choices, why would you choose a horror comic for Barbara's death or a diary that explains Molly can shapeshift? These are all tales. Tales are defined as a story, especially one that might be invented or difficult to believe. Going back to Barbara's death, there's a roller skate near the stairs. What if she tripped and fell? And this curse is just a big cover-up.
We are all familiar with the strange lore of Minecraft, the ruins of ancient civilizations, the abandoned remains of nether portals, and the near extinction of dragons. But what secrets actually form the full story of the game? Is it how game theory has presented it, that the inhabitants in the end were once great builders in the overworld? Or could it be that a great king used to rule the world before his kingdom fell? To truly answer the secret of Minecraft's story, let's go back to the very beginning. You find yourself in a strange new land with nothing but the clothes on your back. You decide to punch a tree, which then unlocks the ability to craft your first set of tools. From here, you begin progressing up the tech tree, improving your tools and increasing the number of blocks you can build and interact with. But where do you go from here? Perhaps you decide to build a castle, and a shrine to a tree that gave you an apple when you were starving, and make an underground base with the help of a friend. Maybe you begin to create artifacts that are important to you, and begin developing roadways between your civilizations. The secret of Minecraft's story is it is yours to create.
Did you play Elden Ring at launch? Well, I did. And I can distinctly remember not knowing how to get a certain item or how to reach a certain area, going to Google a guide only to find there was no guide. If you got stuck, you just had to, figure it out. Elden Ring was just so massive that it was impossible for a single writer to find and compile everything into a unified guide within a few days. So, to find all the game's secrets, players had to do something they hadn't done in a long time. We had to rely not on guides, but on each other. My fondest memories of Elden Ring were the conversations spent with friends comparing our progress, giving each other clues on secrets we might have missed. I tell my friend there's a sword hidden in X cave under Y platform, and he tells me I totally ran past an optional boss back in the last castle. These kinds of informal conversations were the only guides we had to go off of. And yes, they were imperfect, and pretty often inaccurate. But they were ours, built on an eager willingness to unravel the secrets of Elden Ring together.
Urami no Taki. What is there to be discovered just out of sight? With the curious ways that waterfalls tend to hollow the rocks behind them, this sort of dream could thrive. The famous poet Basho composes this haiku while visiting the Nikko Falls. Yet hidden behind these falls is a shrine to Fudo Myo-o. Gazing from behind these peaceful falls, the first secret behind a waterfall came with the original Legend of Zelda. From here, developers of video games took to hiding secrets behind waterfalls as the meme has slowed in recent years. I find myself empathizing with the lack of secrets behind a waterfall more and more. Among the many ways to define philosophy, one is studying the history of ideas. By this history, few ideas surprise me. New ideas merely reprise the to love ideas now means I jealously resent those whose faith in curiosity comes easy, so that I can, once again, revel in the view from behind the falls. Urami, kiki todoketari.
What good's a solved mystery when the hunt's history? No matter how you look at it, a secret needs its ingredient. There's no help in difficulty. No one ever played World 1.3, and they up and told us about Arkham City. How secret should a secret be if a secret should risk with a tricky dick like me? She was a 10. She knew, we all knew from the starts. Love her or hate her, she's broken a lot of things, not least of all hearts. Maybe I'm a good dick and maybe I'm an easy dupe. I caught the trick, but all I got was poop. What good's a solved mystery? Keep the orb, what I want's mastery. Risk and reward, they're contradictory. A minor test of capability, but a major test of viability. That's what makes for replayability.
There's kind of an odd joy to be had in keeping things to yourself. Now, this is coming from someone whose method of processing art is to make a YouTube video about it, but still, as fun as it can be to share your passions with a whole community of people, sometimes I find myself not wanting to. Sometimes I find something special enough for me to want to keep my relationship with it one-on-one, intimate. If other people like it, great, but I don't feel pressured to seek them out. Even when I'm vocal about my interest in something, I don't always look for conversation. Not that I want to discourage seeking out discussion or other people's views on something. I'll take any excuse to talk about the things I love. But when something strikes a chord with you, when it means so much to you, it finds a place in your heart. Sometimes it's nice to pretend that you're the only person who knows about it, that it's your little secret.
They don't know that each morning I wake in a cold sweat. I don't walk or talk like them. I am unsanctified, void of poise and charm, always have been. And to top it all, grass gives me gas. I pray for moments of solitude, but they are few and far between. Around them, I am but a shell of myself. They can never know because they could never understand. I never chose to be part of a herd. But that's just life, innit?
There was once an episode of Mythbusters investigating the explosive effects of This material is common in the household, making it easy for anyone to find and buy. It was an informative episode. One problem, however, they built a bomb!
Cary Grant and Tori were investigating a easily available material and its supposed explosive properties. What they found out was so explosive that we destroyed the footage and agreed never to say what we learned.
If it's informative, why destroy the episode? Because it's a hazard. An info hazard. An info hazard is where learned knowledge has the risk of causing harm. They come in many forms, normally mundane, but extreme cases can occur. What if someone watched that episode and learned how to kill someone? It did its job, teaching people, but at the cost of normalizing bomb threats in everyday life. Learning and curiosity is a fun process, but not everything learned is safe for humanity. Perhaps some information is better off left as secrets.
It's the 68th Academy Awards, and Best Actor winner Cameron Drake is about to thank his former English teacher.
To Howard Brackett from Greenleaf, Indiana.
And reveal his secret.
And he's gay.
The thing is, Howard isn't gay. Or at least, he doesn't know he is yet.
I'm not gay.
In and Out is a somewhat idealistic film that toys with the idea of coming out by following a man who's outed before he even realizes he's gay. The Oscar speech causes the media to descend on his small town. Because of this attention, people are asking questions.
Should gays be allowed to handle fresh produce? Do you know Ellen?
Gays in the space program.
Lesbians on Mars?
He's a great teacher, but as soon as his secret is out, he loses his job. When he eventually comes to the realization that he is gay, the people in town are inspired to share their own secrets.
What do we think will happen if we all just spill the beans?
His former students also support him by standing up and jokingly announcing that they're all gay.
I'm gay.
Making something that was once a loaded secret lose all of its power.
So am I.
In and Out pushes coming out to its extreme, turning it into something unremarkable, like it's just another harmless secret that some people keep.
It's Gretchen Wieners. Gretchen Wieners knows everybody's business. She knows everything about everyone.
That's why her hair is so big. It's full of secrets.
That's really interesting. If you break any of these rules, you can't sit with us at lunch. Well, I mean, not just you, like any of us. We crack Gretchen, and then we crack the lock on Regina's whole dirty history. I'll never tell Regina what you said. It'll be our little secret.
Shut up!
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can't help it that I'm popular.
Oh my god!
Mà Yun nhá, Yun nhí, có nhỏ chân, vui vẻ vẻ đó.
Sky Children of the Light is a game full of beautiful landscapes and secret spaces. One particular place has always stood out to me. The vast majority of people who have played the game will have never come across Sunset Outlook. To even get up the mountain means entering a side area locked behind an in-game progress barrier, 2 side quests, and 2 ski lifts. It doesn't even look like somewhere the player should be able to get to. The clouds look empty, and usually an empty landscape means invisible walls. The Lonely Peak doesn't really serve any purpose in the game. There's no collectibles, quests, or spirits to be found here. The developers of the game simply saw that the sunset that they had created was beautiful, and decided that players might want to see it up close. I think there's something in that that resonates with me. Something artistic.